If you've watched my channel for any length of time, you'll have seen these bits of galvanized steel bracket, which I use as kind of pseudo soft jaws over the vise here. This is solid steel. I did have some magnetic aluminium ones, but they didn't have a flat face, so it was a bit pointless. They only had rubber jaws, which didn't really grip very well at all. So I need to replace these. I know you can't see this very well because of the height of the tripod, but you'll just have to trust me when I say that this spotting drill is coming down exactly on that scribed line, centered front to back. And because we have this DTI stand here acting as a stop, I can then drill all 4 spotting holes, and then all 4 clearance holes, and then all 4 counterbores. So let's get to it. And there they are on the vise. This is a job I've been putting off for ages for no real reason, but I'm really glad I did it. Seems to be the season of getting around to it. And I've got quite a few more to get on with, so let's get back to that. This is one of my anglepoise lights, and as you can see, it hasn't got a base. I don't know why I bought it without a base or the wrong base or something, but this is definitely not for it. It's the wrong size, it doesn't hold it in place, it just droops around. So I am going to use one of these bases. This is from the Universal Pillar Tool. This was one I didn't do very well with, so I am going to just get this to be used as a base for the anglepoise lamp. Right. I got some filler on this. I got some filler on this base, so now I'm just knocking it back. I did actually forget to drill the fixing holes, so it's probably good idea to do that. Luckily, I'm not putting any filler around the rim, so I should still be able to hold it relatively square. I did make the mistake of sanding the Universal Pillar Tool parts inside the workshop. I won't make that mistake again. Right, it wants 20 to 30 minutes before the next coat. So let's wait, come back, do a couple more coats, and then I'll bring you back into the workshop when it's mounted on the bench. One thing that's very apparent from the use of aerosol gloss paint rather than the enamels painted by brush, as of course there's almost no filling qualities to this whatsoever. So although I sanded down that 2-part filler quite a lot, clearly you can still see a lot of marks in there, a lot of variation in the surface finish. So I don't think I'll be using those aerosols for anything else. They're probably going to end up If not in the bin, then in the garage with all of my other regular general tools, rather than here in the workshop. That said, it's probably good enough for a lamp stand, so I'm going to continue on. Well, there we go. It's just a simple lamp stand. It actually ends up being the wrong colour for this lamp, or this lamp's very dirty. But that's a good deal better. It's now much more stable, and I can adjust the various holds to grip it in place, to get it in the right location whenever I need it, rather than it slopping and falling over to this way, which is what I did all the time. These are resettable imperial dials for the Myford ML7, straight from Myford. The idea being that you can reset the zero where you are. So if you need to go in by another 20 thou, you can reset the dial to -20, and then you can go up to a 0, or vice versa. I've never really felt the need for them to be resettable, but I did want some clearer markings. The originals are Mazak castings, and they are not too clear. Let me just show what I mean. Here's an example of the cast indicating dials on the top slide of the ML7. You can see that they are raised, which is fine, and in broad terms they're not too bad. In reality, if you get round to a 50, it looks like a 60, or sometimes a 20 looks like an 80, because it's relatively small text. It's not super duper clear. So I thought, well, I'm not going to be making any permanent modifications to the lathe. I can put on these resettable dials. I can see what they look like, see if they're easier to use. And assuming they are, I'll keep them. And if they're not, then I can put them back on eBay. There is a plain section just here that's not got a thread on it, which is what I'm gripping on with these pliers. I probably should have used some soft jaws there, but that's all right. So having replaced those handles, they just screw back on exactly the same way as they came off. The only slight caveat to that is that you need to be able to tighten them against each other. So if you were to wind out the cross slide like so, that motion is also one which would unscrew the handle. So to stop that, you tighten the handle while releasing the fixed portion of the adjustable dial, and then that pushes them together, which then puts pressure on the threads, I think, and they're working against each other, so you can unscrew like so without the risk of the handle just coming straight off. It's always there. A pair of resettable hand wheels fitted to the ML7 with only minor swearing. You might be looking at this and thinking, has he lost his mind? This doesn't look like 1950s technology, and you'd probably be correct. That said, these are imperial collets. They go from 1/8, 3/16, 1/4, 3/8, 1/2 inch, and effectively 5/8 here. So that's going to be quite handy here. And these collet blocks, so you can put the collet inside, and then you can index off of the edges. Because I found myself doing a fair amount of squares and hexes on stock, and actually setting up the rotary table to do that is a bit of a pain. So I'm going to see how that goes. And this is a ER25 2 Morse taper 3/8 inch drawbar collet chuck. Now that's actually a really hard combination to find, because most of these are M10 at the end, and in theory M10 goes down my spindle, but my drawbar is 3/8, so why wouldn't I try and find one? So I found one of them. So we're going to get this into the mill and see what it looks like. Well, that's good enough for me, I think.